Hey friends, so today I want to do a book review on Learn to Draw Calligraphy Animals by Andrew Fox. This book was gifted to me by a friend when I was back in New York, and she really thought that I would enjoy it, and I actually really loved working through all the examples in this book. So it's a small book. It's about maybe like 6 by 7 inches, and it's got a hardcover, and there's a little pen loop here for a calligraphy marker that it originally came with, but I think my friend lost it because this was like a secondhand book. And then it does come with some paper in the back, which I will finally use up today. I originally did all the exercises in this other book here, so there's this 100 Days of Craft Books sketchbook that I dedicated my 100-day project to. So if you look up the hashtag of 100 Days of Craft Books on Instagram, you'll find all my other posts. But basically it's this, the project was 100 days of working through different craft books. So for every 10 days, I would pick a different book and work through every single exercise in the book, or as much as I could. So for this book, there were exactly 30 animals to draw. So I picked 3 animals per day, and I completed them. The only thing is that I was using calligraphy brush markers, so they were meant for more like, you could say, using brush pens as opposed to like a hard-tipped calligraphy marker. So I'm going to try to recreate at least one of these animals using the new Tombow ABT markers, because those are the alcohol-based markers, and they do have a calligraphy marker tip, so like a nice chisel tip, which I did not have at the time when I was doing this project, so that'll be fun. So I can show you like what the book actually looks like. So this is a table of contents, so you see all the animals that you will be drawing in this book. There is a quick little welcome, some mention about which marker this is intended for. So it's a 5mm calligraphy marker, so that's the animal, like the animals are supposed to be about 3 to 5 centimeters, which is about like a little over like 2.5 inches to like 2 inches, or 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And then so there's all the animals that you would be drawing, and then there's all these very specific instructions per animal, and some of them are very simple, like the caterpillar, and some of them take a little bit more practice to actually get through. And then when I was going through this the first time, I remember doing a few practice ones just because I knew that the first one wasn't going to come out perfectly, and some of these just kind of require a little bit, I guess, learning how to use your markers properly, or like how this is supposed to be intended to be used. And of course, like, I wasn't using the marker that it was intended for, so I kind of had to like futz around with the brush marker and figure out how to actually get these lines. And there's an afterword. So that's the entire book. So now I'm gonna try to recreate this horse with you guys. I will finally use the paper that came with this, and now I'm going to try to use a real calligraphy marker. So I think this is about what it's supposed to be used for. Just so you know, the ABT Pro markers are alcohol-based, so they could bleed through, so you can see that it's kind of bleeding through. So I'm actually going to put the sketchbook underneath just so it doesn't mess up my table. And then, as you can see, like, there's this step, so I'm just gonna try to do my best. And then do the legs, and then there is this. So I've noticed that like when I do these, I just kind of look at it more so than just read the actual directions, which is probably not the best thing, but that is how I work. Yeah, so that's the horse. Obviously these are not supposed to be like completely realistic looking animals. They're more of like a representation of the animal, and the more you like learn to use the pens, like the more you get to make them a little bit more like the drawing that comes with the book. Mine is a little too long and too skinny, but obviously the proportions can always be fixed. So that is the entire book. I think it's a really cute book, and it definitely opened my eyes to how else you could use calligraphy markers and just different types of markers. Like I always thought, you know, calligraphy markers or any brush markers like could just be used for drawing like very simple things, but when you realize like, oh, you can get a lot of different variations on the brush marks, like you can get wide, thin, but you can also get like these like swoopy kind of lines that make I guess like more variations on like what you could draw, which is really awesome. So I think this book is great. I don't remember how much it costs. I think it's $15 US and 17 Canadian. I think it's a really good value for what you're getting, and it's really well detailed. Like it looks really easy because obviously he did a lot of research on like how to properly draw this in only 3 steps. So I recommend it, and yeah, that's everything. And if you want to check out the rest of the 100-day project that I did, just make sure to check out that hashtag on Instagram, and that is all. All right, thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.